And the meat. If any of you've ever eaten alligator meat, it's a delicacy. It's very good. It's a farm-raised alligator. It's tender. There's both white and dark meat on the alligator. But primarily, what the reason you raise alligators is for the hides. What they'll do is there's a couple different ways of skinning out the alligator. You either have a belly hide or you have a hornback hide. The hornback hide will be used for mainly boots, and the belly hide will be used for wallets and pocketbooks and things like that. Milton, if you'll come on back up here, let me give you a little bit. From what I do with these alligators is I'll raise them from hatchling size up to about 4 foot, and then we'll take about 100 of them at a time and take them and get them processed, and we'll sell the hides overseas, and we'll bring the meat back and sell the meat. The hide market is not that good right now, so what I've done is I've kind of gotten away from raising the alligators for the hides and the meat, but what I'm doing is I'm raising the alligators and now I'm leasing them out to different locations within the Panhandle here, to restaurants, and what they do is they set up exhibits. They'll have a place where people who are waiting to eat can go out there and look at the alligators and kind of get an idea of what they look like, what they do, because a lot of, we're fortunate that we live in the South, and so we know all about alligators. You get your northerners from up north come down, and the first thing they do when they come to Florida is they want to see an alligator. They're amazed by alligators, they see them on TV, and they just want to either touch one, or they want to see one, or be around one. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm leasing gators out to these exhibitors, okay?
Shoot that gator!
I hear you. What we'll do is, let me tell you a little bit about the alligator. If you'll notice, down here on the tip of his nose, his nostrils actually stick up a little bit higher than the rest of his jawbone, and his eyes. And what he's doing, what that allows him to do at nighttime, mostly when they do the hunting, is they'll actually just kind of ease up on whatever they're going after, whether it's a rabbit or a raccoon or whatever on the side of it, makes it short. They will sneak up on them, and all they got to do is have his eyes and the nose above the water, and before you know it, they'll be all over that animal or whatever they're trying to catch. The scoots, or these little ridges down the back, are called scoots. They have a little bit of a fragment, a bone fragment to it. It's kind of like a hard shell that protects the alligator. If you're looking at his feet, they have wet feet, but the wetting doesn't really have anything to do with them swimming. That is basically when they're walking in muddy areas or swamp or whatever, those feet will spread out, and it kind of helps keep them above the muck and the grass and stuff. And you'll notice they do have toenails on 3 of their toes. The tail is very strong. That'll hurt you just as quick as the jaws will. If you've ever come up on an alligator and you're standing there close to him, and let's say you get behind him or you get beside him, his first reaction, and it comes from hunting also, is let's say something comes over here in this area right here. That tail will come around and swat whatever it's coming up on, and then with the same reaction as that head comes around, and you're caught. I mean, you can't do much, okay? You're caught. All you can do is scream and hope somebody comes and helps you. But the tail is what propels this animal through the water, okay? Very fast in water, not as fast on land. They will run. I've had them get after me and chase me, but we're only talking from here to the couple of trees out there. Then they get tired, and they get tired of running, and I can go ahead and run away from them. Looking on the bottom side of these guys, if you felt of it, there's a very smooth skin, totally different from the top side. This is where your product is normally found as far as your purses and your pocketbooks, okay? And I want you to, just leave him like that. I want you to notice that what he's doing right now, you see he's basically kind of lay there, okay? People in the past have said, well, if you rub his belly, you turn him over and rub his belly, he'll go to sleep. Well, it really doesn't have anything to do with rubbing his belly. What it is the blood flow is basically cut off, or not cut off completely, but it slows his brain. So that alligator kind of goes limp just from being upside down. Now, as quick as you turn it back over, that blood flow is going to go back to his head, and he'll start moving around again. The eyelids on these guys, there's 3 sets of eyelids on them. There's an eyelid which got the hard shell on top of it. When he closes it down, that protects his eyelid or his eye. He's got an eyelid that comes from the front to the back that is basically a film texture to it. He can see through it. When he's swimming through the water and underwater, he'll bring that one eyelid back from the front to the back, and that allows him to still see while he's underwater and still protect his eye. And then he's got another one that comes from the bottom that also helps protect his eyes, okay? The teeth, on this guy, they're real sharp, but they're not real big. But the jaw pressure on this guy, even this gator this size, if he would bite my finger, the damage may not be so much from either him biting it off or crushing the bone, but when I snatch my hand back, it's going to rip all the skin that I got on my fingers, kind of rip it off, okay? So you've got a mess. And then plus you've got the infection from the teeth that they have, okay? Checking out his eyes. He has the pupils of basically, you know what you see with a cat. This particular eye, if you looked at it when you came by, this would be the same type of eye that you would see in your poisonous snakes. If it's a non-poisonous snake, their pupil is just a round texture or round shape to it. I'll show that on the snake that I have here. Okay. What we do with my farm and with my breeders, my breeder pond, I've got 20 to 25 breeders in this pond, and every year when they lay eggs, which they were breeding in April and May, the female she'll lay the eggs about the middle of June, and we'll go steal the eggs, and we'll incubate the eggs out at a certain temperature. The ideal temperature that we want is from 90 to 93. That produces mostly male alligators. If the temperature is from, let's say, 80 to 83, then you'll typically have more female alligators. Anything in between that, you'll have a mixture. So our ideal temperature for us incubating out the eggs is right around 90 to 93 degrees, okay? The female should lay anywhere from about, if it's a small female, about 20. A bigger female, she'll lay up to as many as 45 to 50 eggs, okay? Once again, we'll try and dictate what kind of temperature we're on that. As soon as they hatch out in about 65 days after they're laid. We'll take them and we'll put them in a pen to kind of protect them and keep them away from the bigger ones that might eat them, okay? Let me get one of the small ones out.